Hi, and welcome back to my top 7 lists of 2015. This is the last list I'm doing for 2015, and I like to save my favorite for last. And of course, my favorite is doing animated movies. There were quite a lot of good animated features to come out in 2015, despite a lot of animated movies being on my worst list. Now, before I get started with this list, I do have another honorable mention for animated movies, and that's the SpongeBob SquarePants movie Sponge Out of Water. Mainly because it was kind of falsely advertised. The commercials would have you believe it's mostly about them being superheroes and being CG, but the majority of the movie is 2D with them underwater. And it is actually pretty funny. And if you've seen my other list, it does have one of my favorite characters of 2015. Now on to the actual list. Number 7 is When Marty Was There. Now, I haven't done a review of this film yet, but I do plan to in the future. It's a Studio Ghibli film that had a limited release back in June, and then came out on DVD and Blu-ray somewhere in October and November. A lot of people have been speculating that it might be Studio Ghibli's swan song, and I know it might be harsh putting it only at number 7 on my list, kinda how I had The Wind Rises at number 7 in my 2014 list. But I've watched this movie twice so far, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to like it more than I should. Because at the moment, I don't like it as much as these other movies on my list, but I still do acknowledge it's a pretty good movie. And without giving too much away when I eventually do review it, one of the reasons it's at number 7 is because it pulls a bit of a bait and switch, which I can't really blame it for that because it's based on a story from 1981, but I won't get into that right now. Number 6 is Regular Show the Movie. Now, this was a direct-to-digital movie and eventually aired on TV. And while I said in my review that it doesn't feel as big as some of the other Regular Show specials, they still made a pretty dang good movie with what they had. And any fan of Regular Show or even time travel movies in general will probably enjoy this. At number 5, I have The Good Dinosaur. Now, I stand by my statement that I think this is probably going to end up as being the most underrated Pixar movie. Critics can whine all they want about the script being derivative, but that doesn't change my opinion that it's actually a pretty good movie. I know it's very similar to other dinosaur movies, but I feel like it does enough different to where it's worth a watch. And plus, the landscapes in it look amazing. Pixar accomplished what we thought could never be accomplished, and that is making CG look so real we can't tell if it's real or not, which you can see with the plants and the water in this movie. It's just insane how realistic it looks. Now at number 4, I have the Peanuts movie. Who knew that Blue Sky would make one of the most adorably charming movies of the year, and something that's incredibly faithful to the source material? There isn't really a big epic adventure here. It's just Charlie Brown living his life, and being the failure face that he is. I don't even like the Peanuts that much, but I like this movie a lot. At number 3, I have Shaun the Sheep movie. There's no "the" there, apparently. Now, the Aardman animation style can be off-putting to some people, but I find it pretty charming. I've actually been using charming a lot in these lists. I probably should stop saying that word. I hadn't really seen many of the Shaun the Sheep shorts, and when hearing about this movie, I didn't really know what to expect. And what I got was essentially a silent movie. There are noises and grumbles and sound effects and everything, but it's essentially told like a silent movie. And it's such a simple story, yet it makes it incredibly heartwarming. And at number 2, I have Anomalisa. I kind of already expected this film to be really good, because that's what people had been saying in film festivals and everything, and my expectations were pretty much met. It's, again, like I said in my live action top 7 for a couple of movies, it's a very personal film. Again, with really only one setting. But it has one of the most relatable stories to ever come out of animation. Like, when watching this, you'll say, "Oh yeah, I know that feeling." And speaking of feelings, you guessed it, my number 1 is Inside Out. What a surprise. I love this movie a lot. Probably not as much as I do the Lego movie from 2014, but I do love it a lot. Because, like I said in my review, it's very emotional. I mean, no duh, it's about emotions. And like with Shaun the Sheep, it does tell a very simple story, but in a very heartwarming way. And despite the idea not being original, like so many people point out when they say Inside Out's not that great, it's not whether the idea is original or not, it's the execution. And Inside Out's execution is practically perfect. It's actually the first movie I've ever immediately bought on Blu-ray after it became available. I only recently started collecting Blu-rays, so I guess that's a lot coming from me? Or maybe it's not a lot coming from me. I'm not sure what that would imply. But like I said, its execution is really what mattered. And when looking on the special features of the DVD, this movie was almost a disaster. Joy would have ended up being an unlovable jerk, which would have been terrible for the movie. Kinda like how Woody from Toy Story would have been a jerk if they went with the original script. Thankfully, like Woody, Joy has become one of the most beloved Pixar characters and one of my favorite from 2015. So yeah, Inside Out's great. I love it. I'll probably watch it a million more times. So what are your favorite animated movies from 2015? Tell me down in the comments. If you want to see my other list, you can click the playlist right here. And by the way, in these recent videos, you might have noticed that I have a shelf back there now. I'm not sure if it's too distracting for you guys or if you like it there, so please tell me what you think of it down in the comments. I'll also have a haul video talking about it sometime in a couple of weeks, because I do have some stuff coming in that I probably want to put on it. But anyway, if you want to see more of the top 7 lists, I'll link them, and I will see you next time. Bye! Hey guys, thank you for watching, and thank you to all of my patrons for this month. Your pledges really help a lot, so thank you. And if you want to become a patron, click the annotation. And if you want to see more top 7 lists, click the playlist. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. And again, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.